Hi, I'm Tiffany, and how often do you say something negative to yourself? How easy is it for you to say, I don't look pretty in this dress, or I look fat, or anything, or I can't get to this goal because I don't deserve it?
For me, it happens every time I put it on a dress. I say I don't look good in a dress. So that's why I've avoided putting on dresses, because I know that negative thoughts come to me.
Seriously?
Keep going.
You're gonna
That's gonna be great. Come on, that's gonna be great.
out. Oh my gosh. So I was on the phone the other day with one of my good friends, and within 30 seconds, she said I'm broken at least 10 times. And what I don't think people understand is every time you say something negative to yourself, a neuron in your brain connects, meaning what you say to yourself, you start believing. And then it becomes a habit of saying negative things, and then it becomes a way of a life. I mean, your life becomes easier to say something negative about yourself than positive. So as she said this, and we were sitting there, she was talking and she was crying about how broken she was and how life's unfair, and I sat back, and because of everything I talk about, and I said, I can't sit here and let you say that you're broken every couple seconds. Because every time you say that, it becomes easier for you to say it again. We've all heard that every time you say a negative, you gotta at least say 5 positives. And do you remember the first time you said something negative about yourself? It's probably a little uncomfortable. Actually, you probably said it because you felt more comfortable about saying that than the positive that you actually felt. Like when you're in a group and someone compliments you on the dress that you're wearing, you're like, oh, it makes me look fat. Or I didn't do as well as I should have. You see what we do there? That's the first negative we do, and then it becomes easier and easier and easier to say that negative. As we sat on that phone, I said, I can't sit here and let you say this about yourself anymore. Every time you say it, I'm going to say you're strong, but I recommend you saying something positive, because you got to change what you're doing to yourself. You got to change the way you think. Change the way. And sometimes you got to do something drastic, because if you have said something negative about yourself so often, it's going to be hard to change it to a positive. Meaning that negative is going to come into your mind and say, I'm broken. And you're going to try to say, I'm strong, and it's going to be really hard to come out of your mouth. And at first, you're not going to want to say it out loud, but you need to say it out loud. And you need to say it 5 times out loud at minimum, because it's going to be hard to change it. But every time you say a positive, it gets easier. And then that will become a way of life. Because I honestly believe, and I know that what you think is what you believe, and what you believe is what you become. So every time you think a negative, you're going to end up saying it. Every time you think a positive, you're going to end up saying it. And either one of those, which war is going to win? Because it's a war. And you got to think positive to believe positively, and then you have to actually live it. And every time we say something positive, it'll become easier. That's why I'm big on motivation. That's why I'm big on affirmation. Every time you wake up in the morning, you should say, I'm beautiful, or I'm handsome, or I'm good looking, or I'm fine. Whatever word fits for you or what you feel good about, you should be saying. And not only that, you should be saying, I'm going to kick today's butt. I'm going to make it the best day ever. Because when you believe it, when you say it, then you start to believe it. And when you believe it, you actually start to live it. So don't say the negative, say the positive, then you'll start to believe it. So Daniel, I want to bring you into this a little bit. How often do you find yourself saying negative things to yourself?
It happens. I think it's easy. It's human nature to slip or to focus on something negative that's happened. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging, hey, this is a mistake or this is something that sucked, because we can learn from that, right? If it wasn't painful, why would we change from it, right? Or if it's something, but in terms of there's a difference between acknowledging a mistake or an experience, and there's a difference between that and focusing on or dwelling on an issue or being negative on a consistent basis. If you're negative consistently, you will cycle back around and it becomes habitual, where you're in a rut of, oh, I'm not going anywhere in life because I'm so negative, and that's what you believe. So it is very important, your choice of words. If you use positive, uplifting words, that can change your whole life just by your word choice, or how you react to a situation can change the whole situation. And it's how you can become better if you look at it with, is this a learning opportunity, or is this I just got crap beat out of me and this sucks and I'm going to dwell on this and I'm going to stay down. I got kicked down. I'm going to stay down. So I think it's very crucial. It's very important to choose words that elevate your mindset, that lift you to a higher level of thinking, where you can believe and have a higher positive thing. So to answer your question, yeah, I come across negative mindset, and then you got to make that choice of, am I going to let that thought dwell in my mind and stay there on the stage of my mind, or am I going to shoo it out and kick it out and say, I'm better than this, and go flex in the mirror, flex my muscles, say, I got this. This is a learning opportunity, and this is a struggle, but I've got this. And you can turn it around and go seize the day and seize the moment and seize the opportunity as a learning opportunity. And what can I learn from this otherwise bad experience? And what can I benefit? And what can my friends and family learn from this? How can I get better from having experienced this situation?
I think you're coming from the business aspect or the family aspect, and I totally agree. Barbara Crockett says it very well. She says it's not a matter of if you're going to get hit down. It's a matter of how long you're going to stay down and get back up. Now, we're all going to get hit down. It's a matter of if you're going to start speaking negatively to yourself, or like you said, you're going to take it as a learning opportunity to say, hey, this is what I'm learning. This is how I'm growing. This is how I'm doing something good. What I want people to really think about is stop saying negative things to yourself. Stop saying that was stupid, or I suck, or oh crap, I'm fat, or stop right now today. Stop doing that, because it's not helping you get where you want to get.
Stop being overly critical of yourself.
Yeah, we all make mistakes, right? But like you said, we get to learn from them. So every morning, I think people should be looking in that mirror and literally grabbing life by its throat and say, I got this, and I'm beautiful, or I'm handsome, or whoever's standing in that mirror, look at it. And if it's so hard for you to do it to yourself right now, if you have a child, or if you have your best friend, what would you tell them to say to themselves? Because sometimes it's hard for us to look at ourselves and say, do I really have to say something positive if you've already gotten to a point where you're really negative on yourself every day? Look at your child, or look at your best friend and say, what would I tell them to say to themselves? Then say that to yourself. Say that in the mirror. Say, I would tell them to say, you're beautiful. I would tell them to say, you're amazing. I would tell them to say, you're successful. Then after you say that, then say that to yourself. Because sometimes it's easier for us to tell someone else what to say than to tell ourselves what to say. The most important thing to grasp and to understand, every time you say something negative to yourself, you better say 5 positives. And stop today saying negative. That doesn't mean we don't learn from our experiences that you said, but there's a difference. When you say you're broken or life's unfair, that's a victim mentality. And every time you say that, you're headed down the road to severe depression. If you stop it before it starts, you got a better chance of fighting that fight. But every time you say a negative, it's going to get easier to say that negative. And then when you say it out loud, it's going to get easier and easier. And then you start living it and believing it. And that's not a way of life. A way of life is to believe in your capability. To believe what you have. You are on this earth for a reason. And you have something to give to this earth. But you gotta believe that. Don't stand there and believe that you're broken. Stand there that you are the greatest person. You are the greatest you on this earth. And that's true. None of us are the same. But you gotta believe it before anybody else is gonna believe it.
We all need to strive to be the best versions of ourselves. And it starts with positive words, positive thinking, mindset. It starts with grasping, hey, what can I do with my life? What contribution am I here to make? I loved how you put the filter of being a parent. For those that are parents out there in the world, congratulations, that's awesome. But it puts the perspective of, hey, what do you want for your children, right? And speaking as a father, I want what's best for them. I want them to go through hard things. I want them to go through difficulties in life so they can learn from it. But I also want them to experience joy and love and happiness. And I want them to be the best versions of themselves. In summary, the best versions of themselves. I want them to grow into what they have the potential to become.
So you said something really important. Bring it as a parent. So let's take a 4-year-old child. Okay. I don't have a 4-year-old anymore, but I know some of you out there do. Or you're a teenager, or anybody in your family, or your niece or nephew, someone that's younger than you. And they come home and they start telling you negative things about themselves. And think about the thing that you tell yourself. Let's say you said you were broken yesterday, or, oh man, life sucks, or this is so hard, and life's hard, and this is what you tell yourself every day. Let's say your son or daughter or nephew or niece came in and started saying that, and started looking down and just depressed. What would you say to them? What would you want them to believe in themselves? What would you want them to think? Would you want them to think they're broken? Would you want them to think that they're worthless? No. You would look at them and tell them how great they are and how amazing they are and the capabilities they have. But it's so much easier for us to talk to somebody else about their worth and their greatness and how amazing they are instead of talking to ourselves that way. So that's why I brought that up. Look at a child, look at that person that you love and tell them in the mirror with you standing there how amazing they are. And then tell yourself, because that is the only way to live life. It's not a way to go down that depression road. It's not a way to feel like I'm broken or life's hard. Yeah, life's hard. Yeah, you're going to have struggles. But man, learn from them. Like I said, you have the capability to do amazing things here on this earth. You just have to decide that you believe and that you are great, because you are the greatest you here.
You choose. You choose how great you are. You choose the best version of yourself. You choose. You have the blueprint. You get to create your own blueprint of how you want your life to be, what you want your life to become. And you get to choose it. You get to decide. It's a decision. Am I going to be down and in the down in the dirt and always depressed, or am I going to go make it happen and have the best version of my life?
What you said is important. It's a decision. It's a decision what words you're going to say to yourself. It's a decision which road you're going to go down. It's a decision if you're going to tell yourself negative things or positive things. One might be easier than the other, but it's a decision. And that's the decision that you've got to make. And each person has to make on a daily basis. What decision are you going to make?